I here. This is a reading for the sign of Cancer. We're going to do a Celtic crossbred with a Thoth deck, and what we see on the bottom of the deck is going to represent what you don't see coming. And once we get an idea of what the general message of this reading is going to be, we're going to pull 3 cards from the shadow deck to see what's going on in your subconscious and to see if there are any further clarifications we might need. So let's just see what happens. Okay, so today we are tuning in to the energy of the sign of Cancer. So if that is your sun, your moon, or your rising sign, or however else you choose today to identify with the sign of Cancer, you can use that as a way to interpret the messages that are coming through. And if the details of these messages do not fit, they do not match your life or your situation, that's okay. Take what resonates, leave what does not. And if none of the details are really seeming to fit, you can always check your other placements, or you can just stick around and see what's going on in the world of other Cancers. So let us see what messages we can get today. Are there things that we should think about? Things we should meditate upon, put our focus into, and reflect on? Are there things that we should look out for? Are there any warnings that we need to be made aware of? Things that we perhaps should avoid, steer clear of? Negative things that we can perhaps avoid. And dually, are there things perhaps that we should move towards? Things that would benefit us to put our energy into, put our time, our focus? Are there things we should move towards that perhaps will bring a happier or easier or just overall better life into our existence? What things should we think about today? What messages do we need to receive? What can we learn today for those who are trying to tap in to the energy of the sign of Cancer? All right, so let us see what we have for our Celtic cross today. In the present moment, we begin with the 4 of Swords. It's a card of rest, truce. This is a card of stepping out of the sort of stress or chaos of some situation, whether it be physical, mental, just some difficult situation that we're trying to stay away from, take a step away from the chaos of whatever intense things are happening in our life and just reflect upon them. Take some time to heal and to meditate upon whatever it is that's troubling you, whatever it is that you're struggling with. And we're crossed by the Death card. So perhaps there is something very difficult in your life that you're needing to take a step back from and reflect upon because you realize that something has to change, something has to end. But it's not a sort of final moment in the wider sense. It's a final moment for this particular stage or situation of whatever this may be for you. So take some time to reflect upon the battles you've been fighting, the things you've been really going through that have been really putting you into a stressful or perhaps even unhappy state of mind. Give yourself some time to heal, and perhaps what this is saying is that you can learn to grow and expand upon the things that have been troubling you up to this point. You can perhaps find some silver lining in the difficult struggles you're going through and use those as a jumping off point for building something bigger and better going forward. But let's see what the rest of our cross has. Yeah, that's what we're getting away from at the 4 of Swords. The struggle, perhaps of just your daily life. The 10 of Wands, the card of oppression and responsibilities, burdens, things that have to be carried that are perhaps weighing you down a little too much. And so you need to take a break and perhaps think about what things need to be let go of so that you can grow yourself rather than being the weight that everything, or carrying the weight of everything else, being that sort of pillar that everything else is relying on to hold up their weight. The Seven of Cups. Interesting. Six of Wands. The Lovers. Lust. The Five of Swords. The Nine of Wands. And the Ten of Swords. I'm not gonna lie, this is a stressful reading. There's some really almost negative sort of feelings that I'm kind of getting from this. There's very little water here, but I think that's because we're trying to get away from how this might be feeling. So let's just go through and see what we've got. We have, for our major arcana, the Death card and the Lovers, and the Lust card. The Lovers and Lust card are very empowering, positive cards. The Death card also. Those are all pretty positive major arcana cards. The Death card looks sort of dark and brooding in most decks, but as you can see in the Thoth deck, there's a fair bit of color. It's not a variety of color, but it's still a very lively card in the sense that it's really a card about creation. In terms of our court cards, there are no court cards. So I think this is going to be a message for you and the sort of mental state that you are in, the sort of space you're in when you're thinking to yourself about all the things that you're going throughout your day. In terms of our minor arcana, we have for our earth energy, we have no earth energy. So this is reflective. This is definitely a reflective response to what you're dealing with in your life, but this is about your internal space. In terms of our air energy, it looks like we have a Five of Swords, a Ten of Swords, and a Four of Swords. Okay, so the Four is the quiet, restful, stable place in our mind. The Five is where the chaos comes back in, the pain of difficult thoughts, feeling defeated, perhaps by our own thoughts or by other people, sabotaging the things we want to accomplish. And then at the top of all of that is the Ten of Swords, which is a challenging but freeing card. I would like to emphasize that that's a card of escape and moving on to something better. To me, it has a lot of connection to the Death card. It's really about getting away from what does not work and moving towards something better. As painful as that may be, it's like climbing a barbed wire fence to escape a prison that is not meant for us. That's what that card to me really feels like. So you're going to hurt yourself climbing over that fence. Those barbs are not going to be kind to you, but you realize that in going through that difficult escape, you get away from whatever it is that is negative, and you're moving towards something that's going to help you find a better place. Okay, so that's our air energy. In terms of our water, as I mentioned, we have very little. I think I said there was none. There is some water energy there. There's a Seven of Cups. Not the most pleasant of cups, but it is there. And in terms of our fire energy, we have a 10. And of course, there is a fair bit of fire that's really accompanied here with the Lust card. And the 6. And the 9. I need to pay attention, apparently. So, interesting. Okay, so we actually have a fair bit of fire energy. We have a fair bit of air. We have just a little water and no earth. No earth at all. So what is going on here? What is this reading telling us? Well, as I said, this is not feeling amazingly positive to me, but that doesn't mean that it's not a positive message. To me, this is feeling like an energy of really difficult emotions that we're trying to not look directly at, because they're things that are potentially holding us back from, moving towards what we want to be, or where we want to be, really. So, okay, what does that mean? Well, in the present moment, as I said, we have the Four of Swords. This is a card of rest and recovery. It is a card of suit of swords. It's air. It's a quiet healing energy, but it's not healing us physically, it's healing us mentally. So it's taking that time to rest and letting our thoughts stabilize and get into some balance. Notice the symmetry in that card. Everything is in balance except for what is going on around the card, which there's a little bit of symmetry, but it's mostly chaos what's happening outside of that card. It's mostly a bunch of, the symmetry of the swords and the flower in the middle are not reflected by what is going outside of them. So this is about finding a space, a quiet space to sit and gain that centering, gain that reflective balance as we get away from all the chaos outside of us. Right? This is like there's a fight going on. There's a war happening, perhaps, and you're in your castle, and everyone's outside fighting, and you become wounded during the battle and have to go inside that castle and just sit there quietly and recover. And perhaps while you're in this space, this is where the death occurs. Not death in the sense of that's it, game over, we're out of here. It is a death in a transformative sense, a death of a phoenix type situation where whatever it is you're escaping from is going away and you're moving on to the next better thing. So in the horizontal timeline here, on that axis, we start with the Ten of Wands. As I already mentioned, that's the card of burden, struggle, having to carry the weight of other people and go through what they're, carry their weights as well as your own. And this can be something that really wears us down. So I get the feeling that you are probably in a position where so many people are relying on you and you're having to do all of these things for themselves that you're neglecting the care of yourself. And as you're neglecting yourself, you're not taking care of your own personal needs. That's what leads us to the Seven of Cups here. And look how nasty and gunky that water looks. That's because we're spending all our time trying to help other people fix their problems and fix the things they're struggling with. And the filtration system that would normally keep that water nice and clean has been neglected. And it just gets gummier and nastier over time. And the things that used to seem really joyful and cheerful to us now start to have a weird sort of ugly tint to them that we don't really like. So we don't want to move into that space. And I think that's the death that needs to occur is we need to step out of this mode that we're in of dealing with everyone else's problems but our own. And we need to stop and heal ourselves. We need to put an end to this and move to something that's healthier and more sustainable. Now, I think this is why the Lovers is at the top of this card, is that this is a active choice that you need to make. This death that needs to occur is something that needs to change. It's something that you need to actively choose to move away from the things that are holding you back and towards the things that help you grow. You need to make a commitment not just to other people, but a commitment to yourself and making sure that you're doing that self-care. The Lovers is a card of Gemini, and Gemini is the twins. It is two pieces of the same zodiac sign. Even though there's two of them, they are really one, just fractured into two parts. And I think this is, to me, this is giving me this idea that you need to realize that the thing you need to commit to, the other side, is not just external things, but internal things. You yourself have two parts to you. There's the part that everyone else sees, and then there's the part that only you see. And you need to get those two things back in alignment. You need to make sure that those two halves of yourself are in balance. Now, I'm not suggesting that you just say, screw everyone else, I'm only going to take care of myself. You need to find a balance. Put an end to always saying yes to everyone else and take time to say yes to you to get those scales back into alignment. Because that's the only way you're going to clean up that nasty, mucky Seven of Cups water that you have there. Now, underneath all of this is the Six of Wands, the card of victory. This is usually the card that I think of as being the sort of engine that's powering you inside, that's helping you push forward towards whatever it is at the top that is your sort of carrot on the stick. So in this reading, I'm thinking that the idea here is that you need to have a personal victory. You need to find a way to feel fulfilled because you did something that was important to you, not because you came in and solved someone else's problem. You need that personal victory that's going to give you the power to feel confident in your abilities, not just as a caretaker, but as a warrior for yourself. Because you need to remember that the world is always throwing challenges at you, and you have to fight against those challenges, not in a like ruthless, dog eat dog kind of way, but there are challenges that you have to overcome. You have to fight against your struggles and become victorious in fighting them. And not all of those struggles need to be things that are external victories. You need to look at the things that are your goals, the things that you wish to accomplish, the things you want to make a reality in your life, and move towards those things. So when I say that you need to make an active choice with the Lover's card, it's because you're guided by what it is that you commit your time and your energy towards. And what you commit your time and your energy towards is a part of you, because you integrate yourself in the things you choose to deal with. And so we need to not put so much of that into other people so much as put that back inside of ourselves as well. Find a personal victory by accomplishing something that was important just for you, not for other people. Okay? And perhaps another sort of reading we can take from this death card that's crossing this Four of Swords is that all these victories that you have from the outside, as I said, you need to put an end to just doing things for other people, but it's a growth as well. And I think the thing that perhaps you can grow from is all the lessons you've learned from helping other people. Point those inward. By helping all the people in your life, that's good, but it can be draining. Take the things that you're sharing with others and make sure that you're sharing them with yourself as well. The lessons you've learned, the accomplishments you've done by helping others, apply those to yourself. And that's going to be the victory that helps you move towards a stronger, more powerful future. So here in the Lust card, I think this is exactly the kind of idea I'm trying to get at. Is that we need to take this fighting spirit. Like, I don't see you as a weak person by any stretch. I think you are someone who takes on every challenge that's handed to you, and you do it bravely and confidently, but you are not making sure to replenish your energy. You're not making sure to take the time to fix your own issues. And so we need to take that power that we're showing the world, and we need to integrate it back with ourselves. Not just putting that force outward, but again, I really want to emphasize pointing it inward. This beast that she's riding is really a part of her. They're one thing, kind of like the Gemini twins. There's this sort of powerful animalistic side, and then there's this human side, this more sensitive side. And these two pieces need to be integrated. You need to find some balance. Take the strength you're putting outward and pulling it inward. And I mean, yes, there is the connotation of the Lust card as being feeding the hungers that you have. Perhaps the victory that you can tap into is replenishing what brings you joy by tapping back into the things that make you happy and make you feel good. Don't become a hedonist, but make sure that you're not losing track of your personal passions as well as seeking to help other people. Now, in our environment and our relation to others, we have defeat. And I think that I'm seeing that as perhaps being the consequence of not doing this self-care. If you're not taking the time to heal yourself and to revitalize your own energy, all the successes that you're having externally may start to dwindle. You may not find yourself able to continue having these victories. If you're not having internal victories, you're not going to be able to mirror them as external victories either. And so you're going to probably start hitting stumbling blocks. You can push yourself as hard as you want, but once you start to burn out, once you start to lose that energy that fuels you, then you start not being able to commit as intensely as you used to. And I think that's why in your environment we have defeat. If you're not taking the victory for yourself, or not having victories specifically for yourself, you will not have external victories. And in our challenge, we have a Nine of Wands. So as I said, we're kind of running out of steam here if we're not taking the time to revitalize our own personal lust, our own strength. And the challenge is the card that's often called the Wounded Warrior. The final stage that you have to pass before you get to the completion of the wands. If we do not have the energy to overcome the challenges of others because we have neglected replenishing our own energy, that strength is not going to be something we can tap into. We will become the wounded warrior who is no longer able to heal, and he'll never be able to get past that final trial if he doesn't have that final burst of energy to get him to the other side. And as much as you may put forth the desire to have that kind of energy, if you do not actually have the energy inside of you, you're not going to be able to accomplish that final task. That final hurdle is going to be something that you're really going to struggle with. And then perhaps a way of reading the final card here, the Ten of Swords, is that you will fail if you do not make sure to work on yourself. You know, there's so many people in the world, I see it all the time, who do so much for everyone, and it's honorable to put others before yourself. But you cannot only put others before yourself, or you will burn out. You cannot continue to have a fire lit if it does not have fuel to burn. And if all the fuel is gone and you do not take time to replenish it, that will be the end. That'll be a negative death. So again, think about the phoenix of rising from those ashes and that flame coming back. There's got to be some source for that flame if you're going to be able to overcome the challenges you're trying to overcome. So tap back into your own strength. Get in this space and stay in it, and make sure that you are re-energizing whatever that source is for you. Make sure that whatever it is that empowers you, you do not lose touch with it. That's how you overcome these defeats. That's how you heal from the wounds that you receive in battle. Again, we started with the Four of Swords. It's a card of coming out of a battle and healing. Take that time to look inward. Fix the things that you have that you're struggling with, and find joy in your life, as well as helping other people overcome their challenges. Or the Ten of Wands burden is just going to help. It's just going to make you collapse. And then you'll have the negative aspect of the Ten of Swords without the positive. Because remember that the Ten of Swords, you can see how bright that card is. It's the sun in Gemini. It is the escape from this difficult mental space by realizing that something better is ahead. But how do we get to that better thing? We have to put down whatever it is that's holding us back. So you need a death, but not a death of loss for failure, not defeat kind of death. We need a positive death like the phoenix. Put down the things that are holding you back, tap into your strength, and look towards that power of the sun to guide you forward so that you can find that strength to keep going through whatever difficult things you're dealing with. But remember, that can only be done by putting an end to the things that are draining your energy and finding a way to tap back into that powerful, passionate energy of what makes you feel alive. So I hope that made some sense. That's the message I'm getting from this. Let's see what we don't see coming. It's the Aeon. So much change. So much about change in this reading. But like I said, it's an active choice. You have to choose to put down the things that are hurting you and to move towards the things that make you feel stronger. And that's not a unique message, I would say, but it is a message that is always one to keep reminding yourself of. When things are holding you back, get rid of them. If things are empowering you, embrace them. Always in balance, but this is how we move forward, and this is how we get away from a negative, painful situation. And as represented by that transitional Ten of Swords, we get away from that pain and we move towards the next more positive era of our life. So I think this is a message to change is here. Choose to make that change a reality and find a way to move yourself towards a happier tomorrow. So let's see what the Shadow deck has for us. So let us see what's in your subconscious. Oh, it's kind of a draining reading. I can feel the stress. I mean, this may not be some insurmountable, horrible thing that you're dealing with. It may just be that you live a very stressful life and you have a lot of commitments. So, maybe the idea also is that as you're dealing with those commitments, identify which ones are not so important. Identify which ones are ones that you can just let go of and walk away from. Lighten your load and tap back into your power, and I mean, that's it. It's that simple advice. You know, it's like people are always looking for quick fixes to things, and the answers always seem so simple. And when you describe them, they often are. But that doesn't mean it's simple to actually accomplish. So it's like when people want to lose weight, how do you do it? You eat less, exercise more. Okay, great. That's not helpful, right? I want the answers. But that's not what it's about. It's about figuring out for you how to make that simple formula work. And that's what I'm seeing here. If you want to be happy, what's the way to find happiness? Is you let go of what's not serving you and move towards things that do. What does that mean for you? I don't know, but that's the message here. And that's how you get to a better aeon in your life. That's the trial of life, is to figure that out and how to make that work in your situation in your life. Remember the phoenix. That's what I keep hearing. The moon, the world, and the Four of Wands. Okay. So as I was just saying, it's not clear what the solution is for you in your individual life, partially because this is a general reading, so whatever your general life situation is determines the way to move away from bad things and towards good things. But I see the moon here as being the sort of journey of uncovering that. The card is often described as what is sort of hidden, and that's true. It is a card of what's hidden, but it's also a card to me about a journey. If you look at the Rider-Waite version, there's literally a path, and you're navigating a path without knowing the lay of the land. So I think that's saying that finding solutions to these problems, whatever they are for you, is not something that you can just read a quick answer to. You have to search through the dark spaces of what you struggle with and find for yourself how that, has to be overcome in your life situation. But as you're moving around inside of your own headspace, figuring out how you feel about things and, where your life is taking you, you start to uncover more and more about who you are. And to me, I see that the world is representing, I'm seeing almost like this idea of like, there's this idea like you as an individual have the magnitude of the entire universe within your own mind kind of idea. Like it's like a point that's as big as the entire space. So as you're sort of looking inward and trying to take that moon journey of figuring out how to navigate your own headspace, you realize just how much there is in there. Perhaps also the world can sometimes be thought of as like a portal that you're moving through, a tunnel to another place, going from one place to another. And perhaps, as I said, this is like you need to look inward. You're not going to know what's inside of your subconscious until you start moving around inside of there and seeing what's in there. And so you need to uncover what is hidden in that world that is your internal space. And you need to carve out inside of that space a home. The Four of Wands can represent a sort of a structure that doesn't really have any walls, but is still something that's protective. It's about finding a home where you feel connected with the people or the energies or just ideas that are surrounding you, and there's a bit of celebration there. So I think what this is trying to say is that you need to look inside that dark space inside your mind, figure out what isn't being taken care of, learn how to uncover that world for yourself, and to build a sort of happy place that you can feel safe and comfortable in within your mind. Not a place to hide. I'm not saying find a place that you can just sneak away to and live in fantasy land. I'm saying that in that dark space in your mind, build a structure that can protect you from whatever it is you're not paying attention to. Move away from the scary things, deal with the difficult things that are hidden within your mind, and in their place, put in infrastructure so that you can have a healthier, happier way of navigating the world. And what we don't see coming in the shadow deck is the Chariot. I really think this is a journey. I think we need to put an end to ignoring ourselves. That's the death. Put an end to that. Take some quiet, restful time to look inward. Uncover the things within yourself that are not working for you. Look for those 7 of cups, nasty cups in your mind that are filling you with unpleasant emotions, and break them down. Break down the stuff that's not working. That's the 10 of swords. Break away the things in your mind that are not serving you, and move towards the things in your mind that make you happy, and start doing some spring cleaning. I know it's not necessarily spring, but whenever you're watching this, do the work of cleaning out the cobwebs in your mind, and analyzing the things you don't deal with, and you're going to find that you're going to feel a lot happier because you know what's in that dark space in your mind. And this chariot is about doing that work. It's about moving through that space and cleaning everything up, getting everything in balance and alignment. It's like a journey. You're going to go on a journey of looking inside yourself and doing that internal work. So, all right, I think I'm going on long enough here about this. I hope this was helpful. Or at the very least, I hope this was an enjoyable experience for you. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to share, any comments you would like to provide, any feedback, just anything you would like to say, please leave it in the comments below. And if there's anyone that you know that would enjoy or benefit from this or any of my videos, please feel free to share them. But that's all I have for you today, Cancer. I really feel like you're dealing with a lot of stuff, and it's not going to go away when you take this time to work on yourself. But you will never, ever, 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 ever be sorry that you took time to look inward and clean out the spaces inside of you that are not getting attention. Make a home within your own mind. Again, not an escape, but a home in the place of where the scary things are. Clear those away and fill them with things that make you feel good, and you'll be much happier, I promise. But that's all I have for you today, Cancer, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.